In this video, we talk about why the US government is suing Google, and how that not only affects the company, but the entire tech industry and us as the consumer. You're watching Futurelicious, where we bring you the latest information on technology. Last year, big tech companies such as Facebook, Apple, and Amazon came under fire from the government, claiming that the private data they've amassed was too far valuable as a commodity, and whether or not they were able to protect its users as they came under fire from repeated data breaches, and whether or not the big tech companies should be broken up and regulated by the government. After a 14-month investigation, the United States government filed a claim versus Google, saying that the search titan utilized unjust practices to maintain its search, as well as search advertising monopoly. The Department of Justice and 11 states filed the suit versus Google in government court, accusing Google of using cash it makes from its leading setting in search to pay other businesses to help preserve its lead, and also shut out competitors. Google pays Apple billions every year to be the default internet browser on Safari, as an example, as well as search comes preloaded on gadgets using Google's Android OS. The suit states Google utilizes its benefit from its huge hold on the search industry to preserve that hold by paying businesses like Apple, LG, and AT&T to make it the default search engine on their tools, therefore making it harder for possible competitors to compete. Justice Department officials said that the federal government is stepping in to secure access to a free market for consumers and also Google's competitors. They suggest that Google has unlawfully maintained its monopoly with unique transactions that placed its very own search as well as browser on phones, and also keep out competitors. If the federal government does not enforce the antitrust regulations to enable competitors, we can shed the following wave of technology, said Justice Department Representative Mark Raimondi in a press rundown. If that occurs, Americans might never see the next Google. The case argues that Google's anti-competitive methods are damaging three key groups: American consumers, who are forced to approve its often controversial privacy methods, marketers who need to pay a toll to Google to reach their customers, and competing technology firms that cannot arise from Google's lengthy shadow. The statement unveils the most significant antitrust case against the technology company since the Microsoft antitrust instance in 1998. Google's methods are anti-competitive under long-established antitrust law. The Department of Justice likened the situation to Microsoft, that made its net browser the default on Windows running the systems, as well as made it impossible to delete. The Justice Department suit poses a possible existential danger to Google's services if it causes breaking up Google's internet search engine, which made up about $21 billion last quarter, or over half of its total earnings, from its various other lines of business such as cloud computer as well as video. Google rebutted the basis of the legal action, calling it a dubious grievance, as well as suggesting that consumers can quickly make use of other products besides its own. In a declaration, today's claim by the Justice Department is deeply flawed, a Google agent claimed. Individuals utilize Google since they choose to, not since they're required to, or since they can't find alternatives. The claim against Google comes at a time when there's extraordinary public and also political opposition to the political and also economic power of major tech firms. Legislators on both sides of the aisle want to manage big tech, though they disagree on why and also exactly how to regulate these giants. President Trump, as well as lots of Republican and also Democratic legislators, have suggested with urgency that major technology businesses like Google have generated way too much market power. When they go online, they state the business stifle competition as well as leave consumers with no choice however to use their solutions. This is a departure from the decades-long pertinent legal attitude in the United States government. Historically, the idea was that to separate a firm, you had to verify not just that it's a monopoly, yet that it's billing customers much more for its products than it would certainly with better competition. That makes it tougher to pursue Google on the antitrust premises due to the fact that its most preferred items, search, email, internet browser, maps, are all free. Even some Google employees have argued that the firm should be separated to aid Google back to its little scrappy startup principles, which they think it needs in order to proceed innovating. Google, as well as the Department of Justice, have a long and complex roadway before we see any meaningful resolution to this suit. The instance could take several years to play out in court. Similarly, the Google case is expected to drag out for years. And also naturally, there's the real possibility that Google might eventually win, or settle with the US government to prevent a breakup. But in the meantime, the simple threat of antitrust activity is likely to loom over Google, putting the firm in a defensive crouch, possibly decreasing its development and also avoiding it from pursuing the types of business practices that made it successful, such as buying up firms like YouTube, Android, and also DoubleClick. There could additionally be even more pressure behind the Department of Justice if more state attorney generals of the United States join. The Department of Justice, or states, may likewise submit more suits against Amazon, Facebook, and also Apple. And also, as the instance unravels in court, Congress could pass new regulations. Regardless of the Department of Justice's lawsuit's eventual outcome, its declaration marks a clear juncture for big tech. Huge businesses like Google can no longer anticipate to continue skirting obsolete regulations with immunity as they expand their empires. Rather, they will deal with growing analysis and enforcement now that they're progressively seen as possibly dangerous establishments whose power need to be examined by the government. If you've enjoyed this segment and would like to see more, consider subscribing and leaving a comment below of what you thought about this episode. Like always, we can't wait to bring you more from the future.